Good morning, everyone. Still a little early for me, but I got the fortune up on jack stands this morning early. It's kind of cold today, actually. It's probably like, I don't know, 60 something, chilly. Pulled the center console apart to get the shift cable out and in. Haven't done much else on it today yet, so going to work on getting that shift cable in and doing the trans lines today. So I don't have much time, so I'm just gonna kind of jump right into it before we head out, but catch back up with you guys in a few minutes. Look how tiny this shift cable is. I was used to like the Silverados and the Tahoe and stuff. It's like 8 foot long. This thing is like 24 inches. So got it jacked up. Was in here messing or underneath looking. Looks like there's a couple trans leaks and maybe the pan's leaking. So like it's something else we're gonna have to address probably. Probably not anytime soon. I just want to get it in, see if it test drives, and see if it runs and drives, and then I'll start getting into the little stuff. I just don't want to waste my time. If say the trans is messed up or something, then I'll just probably yank the swap out and then sell the shell if it comes to that point. But so far everything seems to be okay. It is missing a bunch of hardware here and there. I keep finding random little bolts missing, and like there's a bolt missing on the cross member, and you know, hopefully it's not cross threaded or something, that's why it's not in there. But one step at a time, I guess. All right, so I got the trans lines all ran and fixed up. When I was under there looking, found out that the AC lines on this compressor are not the correct AC lines for this chassis. So I'm not really worried about AC in this car currently. I'm gonna go ahead and pull these lines out, just clean it up some. Also notice, if you guys remember in the video I posted the other day, I said it sounded knocky or an exhaust leak. So I was over here, there was a heat shield that was rattling right here. I don't know if you guys can, there's a heat shield that's not bolted, and the EGR tube was bolted, but they were only threaded like maybe a 1/4 inch, so there was about a 1/2 inch gap of exhaust coming right out. So the exhaust was coming out and hitting this heat shield and making a rattling noise. So, and it doesn't have a gasket on it, so they probably just, when they put the headers on and this swap, they just probably didn't get a gasket and forgot about it. So I'm gonna grab a gasket, or actually I'll probably end up making one. I have gasket material. I'll just trace it and cut it out of the material and then bolt it on. And then I have to get a little cap to block off one of the radiator hoses on the bottom of the radiator that went to, I believe it was the maybe oil cooler, factory oil cooler or something for this chassis, but this swap doesn't have it. So I'm gonna go to the parts store, get that, and make this gasket real quick, bolt this back up, take those. All right, so we'll catch you guys up on this a little bit. Went ahead and got everything done that I mentioned. Fans are in, wiring's done, radiator's in, all the coolant lines are on. Checked all the fluids, there's fluids and everything. The EGR tube for the smog pump over here is, I don't have this tube, it's missing, so it's gonna make probably like a weird noise or something. But yeah, everything else is done, so we're gonna fire it up, let it heat cycle, and check the fluid, the trans fluid, and then see if the transmission even works. All right, so did a heat cycle on this thing, and just want to show you guys, like, hopefully the battery's charged. So the alternator's not charging, but watch how easy this thing fires up. So it definitely has a cam in it. But anyways, let me flip this around real quick. All right, so we got to talk. So unfortunately, the transmission of this thing is fucked. Has 6 neutrals and doesn't do anything at all. So I put fresh fluid in it, filled it up, put the brand new GM shift cable on. The guy said that's all I needed was a shift cable. Surprise, like kind of figured there would be something wrong with this thing. But anyways, transmission's bad. I'm gonna try a couple things real quick just to make sure. All I did was add the quarts it lost from when the transcooler wasn't hooked up, but dipstick tube is like screwed up. So, but I mean, it should still do something. It should still move. So I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna do a procedure. Maybe they didn't fill the torque converter. If the trans and the motor were separated, and they pulled the torque converter, maybe they didn't fill the torque converter, and it's like bone dry, which I mean is a possibility with this idiot. But so I'm gonna let it settle, check the fluid again. I added like 4 quarts of trans fluid to it, so I'm gonna let it settle, check it, see where we're at, and best case scenario, the torque converter was completely dry, and we just got to get the fluid in the torque converter, adding a little bit at a time, let it settle, add it, let it settle, and so on and so forth. But it's not looking good, guys. So what I'm probably gonna do, I do not need another project car. That was not the plan for this car at all. I was going to mess with it, like I've been saying all along, like take it to the rod run and stuff if it ran and drove. So if the transmission is no good, I'm probably going to post it up on Marketplace. And the shell, like this shell is, if somebody wants an F-body, this shell is like really nice, except for the big ass hole that I cut in the trunk, but most people do that anyway. But anyway, this shell is like 9 out of 10 for sure. If the roof and the mirrors are painted, it'd be 10 out of 10. Shell's excellent. So with that being said, either yank the motor and put it aside for the 240 because it has all the accessories, perfect oil pressure, runs good, it definitely has work done to it, or just leave the motor in the trans in the car and sell it as a project to somebody. I'm just not, I don't need another project. I want to concentrate on getting the 240 completely done and get that thing back on the road. So it's not looking good, unfortunately. So the Z28 is probably going to be going. Like I said, I might keep the motor, I might not. I'm not sure yet. It's really just depends on who's interested in it and what they offer. And I guess we'll just go from there. So unfortunately, it was short-lived for the Z28, but I'm gonna try that one thing with the torque converter just to see if the fluid is full. And if it is, like I already have $500 into it with the fuel pump and everything else I did. So I'm still ahead of the game. I can still get my money back just for selling the shell, and then I'll have a free 5.3. But I don't know, who knows? So till next time, we'll see you later.